First series between these two teams back at the beginning part of April in Milwaukee. Vinny Rotino and Sophia Minert. Jeff Levering with you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Craig Counsell and his club this year, one game above 500 on the road. Trying to flip the script after a tough road trip out to the west. First trip for the Brewers that sees them in the Central Time Zone, and then they go to the Eastern Time Zone when they go to Tampa over the weekend. Starting lineup brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, and it starts with Christian Yelich. He's at left. Jesse Winker does the DHing today with Willy Adames hitting third at short. Rowdy Tellez bats fourth at first base. The brothers Contreras are in there. William bats fifth for the Brewers, does the catching. Anderson, Turang, and Taylor with Joey Wiemer batting ninth in center field. Cardinals just taking the field as we speak, and the Brewers going to see Jack Flaherty today, Vinny, making start number 9.
Man, he has had a rough go of it so far this season. Really one really rough outing 2 starts ago against the Anaheim Angels. That's when he gave up 10 earned runs in a start, Jeff, and that's exactly the last time Wilson Contreras has caught. It was that start where Flaherty gave up 10 runs, where Wilson Contreras was stripped of his catching duties, and now he's back in there. But Jack Flaherty is going to be featuring a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, an 84-mile-an-hour slider, a curveball at 75, and a cutter to go along with it. And his walks have been a big problem for him so far this season.
Yeah, major issue, 39 walks on the season for him. And you take a look at the defense behind Jack Flaherty, Vinny.
Alec Burleson in left field, Lars Nootbaar in center, Brendan Donovan playing right, Nolan Arenado at third base, Paul DeJong playing a good shortstop, Tommy Edman playing second, Paul Goldschmidt at first, and Wilson Contreras back behind the plate.
Boy, what a whirlwind it has been for Wilson Contreras. Catching one day, then he's not going to catch for the foreseeable future. Then he's going to play some left, then DH, and today he starts behind the plate against the Brewers with Jack Flaherty on the mound. Cannot be easy for a guy like Wilson Contreras getting into that ball game today. But Christian Yelich and the Brewers, they've been playing good baseball. Of course, the big sweep against the Kansas City Royals over Mother's Day weekend. And Yelich was really doing a good job over the weekend, lifting and separating. 3 homers for him over the weekend.
Yeah, and we talked about that little toe tap has got his timing a little bit better. And now he's not closing himself off as much. He's staying a little bit more centered, and hopefully we see more of that tonight. And going forward from Christian Yelich, he's been such a spark plug and such a big part of this offense.
You see the 3 leadoff homers for him, a couple of those on the road. His third one coming yesterday against the Kansas City Royals. There's Christian Yelich at batting average up to 262. Finds himself with 7 homers, second most on the club. Flaherty ready to go. And the first pitch of the game. Ball 1 on Christian Yelich. Brewers have seen Flaherty plenty. Makes his 17th career start against Milwaukee. He's 3-7 with an ERA nearing 5.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty was a first rounder way back in 2014, and he came on the big league scene in a big way. He had a 2.75 ERA all the way back in 2019. He's had all kinds of shoulder and arm problems since then. He's really not been able to get back to form.
He goes 3-0 on Christian Yelich right out of the gate. Mentioned the walks. He's had 3 different starts where he's walked 5 or more. One of those being against the Brewers, where he walked 6 in his second start of the season. 3-0 on Yelich. Here comes Flaherty. And it's a 4-pitch walk to open up the ball game.
And that's been his problem all year long so far. He's got the 4th most walks in all of baseball among starters that have started at least 5 games so far this season. Just cannot find that release point.
You see the walk numbers there updated now with 28 walks. Time for the 3rd most in the big leagues. Now Jesse Winker. And takes down and out. So just not finding the strike zone. Jack Flaherty tried the change up there to try and recalibrate that release point. Winker, who's hitless on the last homestand, 0 for 9. Big lead for Yelich over at first. And Winker finally takes his strike from Flaherty. And I tell you, these Cardinal fans, have not seen a lot of wins from this team here at home. Just 6-13 at Busch Stadium. And a lot of frustration surrounding this ball club.
Yeah.
1-1 on Jesse Winker. And he shoots one towards shallow left. That's a base hit. Yelich is going to stay at second base as Jesse Winker gets himself a knock. Willie Adames coming up. Take a look at our advanced stat. It's brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. And for Willie Adames, 3 games against the Cardinals this season, Vinny, he has been seeing red.
Yeah, he likes to see the Cardinals 6 for 11 with 2 home runs, a double, and 4 RBIs. Hopefully Willie Adames can get hot again and get hot right now against the St. Louis Cardinals. He likes playing them. He plays big in big games, Jeff.
He's got those 7 homers, driven in 23 at a tough homestand after a better series against the San Francisco Giants. The tail end of that road trip. For Willie Adames, he's been in there every day. He started every game at short, save for 1, and he DH'd that day. 2 on with nobody out against Flaherty. And that's fouled away. First time that Flaherty's been ahead of any of these Brewers hitters. Adames has seen the ball well out of Flaherty's hand. 3 for 7 with those 2 homers. Down in the count 0-2. And Contreras stopped that curveball.
Yeah, Willie Adames has been doing a better job of that this year, is not chasing those breaking balls down below the zone, just not chasing in general. He's got those walks way up this season. Something that he talked about he wanted to do, get on base more with the free pass.
Did a great job in the month of April of drawing those walks. Did a little few and far between in the month of May. Still behind 1-2 Flaherty. A long look at second. And a foul off on the right side.
So that's a better swing from Willie Adames. It just looks shorter and more compact. I saw him in that last homestand against the Kansas City Royals take some early work, just working on that bat path. Sometimes he can get that bat path working uphill a little bit, get that barrel working underneath. That creates a long path. Those last 2 swings so far in this at bat look shorter and quicker to me.
And swing and a miss over the top of the changeup. And Flaherty picks up his first strikeout, and big out number 1 in this first inning.
That was a pretty good changeup from Jack Flaherty. Good arm speed. Watch how this ball just disappears at the bottom of the zone. Just late fading action with depth. Willie Adames swings over the top.
Rowdy Tellez now. Same situation, but with 1 out. And the curveball misses down and away. Tellez with 10 homers. 4 out of 18 on the last homestand for Rowdy. Two-0 now. As Jack Flaherty just continues to have problems with his command.
So that's the 3rd changeup Jack Flaherty has thrown tonight so far, and he has thrown only 16 total so far this season. So I wonder if that's something they worked on in the game plan, try to work that in a little bit more.
That curveball is low. It's 3-0, a 2-0 hook. Jack Flaherty asking the home plate umpire Malachi Moore where that one missed. 3-0 on Rowdy Tellez. And taking all the way, it's 3-1.
Wonder if Rowdy had the green light right there with that reaction after that ball. He saw that ball go right down the middle, and he kind of shook his head. I'd probably be taken there too. You just don't know where Jack Flaherty's release point is. It's kind of scattering it all over the zone and around the zone.
And he walked him. The bases are going to be loaded for the Brewers now for William Contreras. 2 walks in this first inning for Flaherty. And now the 2 Contreras brothers will greet each other at home plate.
So it's a big series for the Brewers, Jeff. You know, obviously the Cardinals have not been playing well in the season, but they're playing well lately. Winners of 6 of the last 7. It's important for the Brewers to get out to a lead in this game, I think.
Low strike on William Contreras. Took that slider for strike 1. This is the first divisional opponent the Brewers have seen since the Cardinals came to Milwaukee the beginning part of April. Ball and a strike on Contreras. Brewers still have yet to see Pittsburgh. They have not seen the Cincinnati Reds. And this is the last time the Brewers will see the Cardinals until the month of September.
It's just a different feel to the schedule now that everyone's playing everybody. 13 games in division with each division opponent now.
William Contreras, did he check the swing? He did not. First base umpire Mark Wegner, the crew chief on that call. Ball and 2 strikes on William Contreras, who is 1 for 3 this year with the bases loaded. And a ground ball to the left side. Wrong guy. Arenado to Edman. It's a double play, and somehow Jack Flaherty gets out of it. Walk 2, had a base hit, but gives up none. Cardinals coming up against Freddie Peralta when we return. 6 of their last 7, including a sweep at Fenway against the Red Sox over the weekend. Take a look at his starting lineup. It's brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Lars Nootbaar's in the top spot with Goldschmidt, Gorman, and Arenado. Contreras, Donovan DeYoung, Alec Burleson, and Tommy Edman finish out that starting lineup for the Cardinals. They face Freddie Peralta. Our starting pitcher stats brought to you by Spectrum.
He's been pitching awesome. All but 1 start so far this season has Freddie Peralta been dominant, and that was against the San Diego Padres. But he's throwing harder than he ever has before as a starter, and he's got all 4 pitches working. Look for Freddie Peralta to have a big game.
Traditionally, he has struggled against the Cardinals, but he was outstanding against St. Louis in his second start of the year. Went 6 innings, allowed just a run on 4 hits, and struck out 7. As Nootbaar took a big cut. 1 ball and 1 strike on Lars Nootbaar.
So the big at-bats that Freddie Peralta is going to have to navigate through at the bottom of the order, Alec Burleson and Tommy Edman, because the top of the order is so dangerous. Starting with Lars Nootbaar here.
Gets ahead now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Heard Sophia talk in the open about fastball Freddie back in action in his last appearance. 54 of his 94 pitches were fastballs, a couple of strikeouts with it. And everything just plays so much off of the fastball command. 1-2.
Yeah, the fastball command and the fastball velocity as well. It's up to 97. We've seen him as high as 98 so far this year. And again, that just helps Freddie Peralta with his secondary offerings. Hitters have to make quicker decisions when he's throwing the fastball that hard.
2-2 coming back on Nootbaar. And that just missed off the inside corner. 3-2 on Lars Nootbaar.
Tell you what, Lars Nootbaar is such a tough at-bat. A .432 on base percentage so far this year.
Runs a lot better than you'd think because of his size. 3-2 is fouled back. Played for Team Japan and won the gold medal in the World Baseball Classic. Became an instant favorite with Shohei Ohtani. 3-2 pitch from Peralta. And he fouls it away again. Long sequence here. 7 pitches already between Peralta and Nootbaar.
Yeah, he's in the 99th percentile in Major League Baseball in terms of chase percentage, meaning he just doesn't chase outside the zone. That's why you see that on-base percentage so high at .432. That's 3rd in all of baseball.
And he walked him, so leadoff walk, just as Flaherty walked Christian Yelich to lead off the ball game. Peralta walks Nootbaar. Now you have to deal with the likes of Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, Goldie is, guess what? Surprise, surprise. He's absolutely raking so far this season. The .930 OPS is hitting .313 on the season with 7 homers. Actually got 5 stolen bases as well, Jeff. He's doing it all so far this year.
Time for the team lead with those 5 steals and takes a strike. Ooh, inside strike. Goldschmidt couldn't believe that was called a strike on him.
Yeah, we'll take that all night. Ball is about 4 inches off the plate inside. Good job by William Contreras.
Goldschmidt's got a pretty good idea what the strike zone is. Nootbaar not going anywhere on that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Goldschmidt.
Yeah, you see Freddie Peralta just yanking that fastball twice now. That last pitch to Lars Nootbaar to walk him, and then that fastball right there just kind of held on to it too long. He'll find the release point, settle in.
Only thrown 1 off-speed pitch thus far, and now delivers the slider low. Falls behind Goldschmidt. Not a good situation to be in, the way that Paul Goldschmidt swings the bat. Last year's MVP, of course, and loves hitting against the Brewers. Doesn't matter if he's in a Cardinals uniform or a Diamondbacks uniform. There's a fly ball down towards right center, peeling over to Tyrone Taylor for out number 1. Late life on that 4-seamer.
Yeah, Goldschmidt expanded the zone just a little bit on a 2-1 heater. Hit it off the end of the bat. That's a big out. I mean, anytime you can get Paul Goldschmidt out in a game, that's a big out, Jeff.
And just 1 at bat of probably 3 or 4 at least. And if it's just 3 or 4, it means you're doing a good job on the mound.
Yeah.
Nolan Gorman. And Gorman takes strike 1. Gorman doing the DHing today. Starting to find his stroke a little bit. Sitting on 9 homers, had 2 home runs on the last road trip. And he lines one to left, a base hit. Seen a lot more of that from Nolan Gorman in recent days. Staying inside the baseball and using the opposite field.
He's been a pleasant surprise for the St. Louis Cardinals. They talked about him making adjustments on hitting fastballs at the top of the zone. He's flattened out his swing a little bit. Now he can cover the top and the bottom. He's always been able to cover the bottom. But that's not a good sign. Nolan Gorman is actually absolutely raking right now. One of the top hitters in all of baseball at 931 OPS. Not a good sign for the Brewers right there.
Well, now you got to deal with Arenado. And he drives one to left. Hooking towards the line. That's a fair ball just inside the pole. It's 3-0 St. Louis.
Man, this is what the St. Louis Cardinals can do. That is the 4th home run in 4 days for Nolan Arenado. Talk about a guy who's raking right now, and it's Nolan Arenado. His bat came alive against the Boston Red Sox last series when they swept them, and he does not waste any time. It's a hanging slider from Freddie Peralta, and he pulls it, hooks it down the line. Might have been a curveball there, but whatever it was hanging. Arenado keeps it fair with that short swing. 3-0 Cardinals.
4th career home run for Arenado against Freddie Peralta. He's got to navigate through the rest of this Cardinals lineup. Arenado was in a 5 for 50 funk, but over the last 10 games hitting near 400. Wilson Contreras down in the count, 0-2. Well, Brewers going to have to play from behind here. Missed opportunity in the first with their offense. Arenado doing damage on that first pitch.
Yeah. Cardinals are scoring 4.63 runs per game. That's 12th. But in this last 7 games, they've scored 6.57 runs per game. That's 2nd. With an 839 OPS. So up and down the lineup, they're absolutely raking right now. The last, well, now 8 games, Jeff.
The Cardinals, who had 2 come from behind victories against Boston, both against Kenley Jansen. The first 2 games of that series, blew him out last night as Wilson Contreras swings and misses. First strikeout for Freddie Peralta. It's the 2nd out of the inning. Better slider this time. That's what he wanted to throw to Arenado.
Yeah. Yeah, this one just starts more on the outer part of the plate and then breaks off breaks down a little bit below the zone. Wilson Contreras runs out of barrel.
See the frustration for Wilson Contreras. That is not just because of one at bat either. That is a lot of frustration. Brendan Donovan is ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. And William Contreras wants to have a word with Freddie Peralta. Up to 21 pitches here in the inning.
It's a tough spot right here for Freddie Peralta, just because obviously you don't want to get down 3-0 to the Cardinals, but you do have Jack Flaherty on the mound, who has been known to give up runs so far this season. So keep the Cardinals there, 1 pitch at a time, 1 at bat at a time. That's what you have to do. You can't get too far ahead of yourself. Game can speed up on you real quick, down 3-0 in the first.
Remember, the Brewers came from 3 down yesterday to win. A lot of ball game left. Down 4-1 were the Brewers going into the bottom of the 3rd. Put up 7. Great pitching performance from Eric Lauer out of the bullpen. A 9-6 victory to finish off the sweep of the Royals. Freddie's 3-1. And that's ball 4. So 2 walks here in the inning. And Paul DeYoung, the 7th man to hit for St. Louis in the frame. 24 pitches here for Freddie.
I mean, this lineup is just so deep right now, especially with Paul DeYoung. So you have to face Brendan Donovan, who doesn't swing and gets on base. That's his MO. And then you have to face Paul DeYoung, who in 55 at-bats this year has one of the highest OPSs in baseball.
He chases the slider there, and DeYoung, who started the year in AAA, back up in St. Louis now. He was a perennial 20-homer guy and right in the middle of this Cardinal lineup for a couple of years. He had some major struggles the last 2 seasons.
He's been hitting 196 since 2020. Between 2020 and 2022, he hit 196. He went down to AAA, and he flattened out his swing this offseason as well. You see he's got the knob, that big puck knob bat. A lot of guys are going to that bat and that knob with that big puck. On the end, it's a counterweight. Marucci, the bat company, kind of designs the bat tailored to your swing. A lot of guys are going to that.
Down to the count, 1-2. Pitch to DeYoung. Curveball ripped foul. As a counterbalance, Vinny, I mean, what does that do as a hitter? What are you trying to accomplish by having a knob like that?
Yeah, so the barrel will whip through a little bit quicker if you have it to the right specifications to your swing. And Marucci, the bat company's figured it out. They put some science behind it and figured out a way to put the exact right counterbalance to that tailors to your swing. You see a bunch of these Cardinals doing it.
Still 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Peralta ends up striking out DeYoung. Couple of Ks in the inning, but the big blast. Nolan Arenado, his 7th home run of the season. Brewers chasing 3 after 1. See the cheese travel well down to St. Louis. First pitch to Brian Anderson is strike 1 from Jack Flaherty. Now working with a 3-0 lead. Anderson got the day off yesterday in the finale against Kansas City. It's this one to shallow right. Out is Edman. In comes the right fielder Donovan to make the play. And now Bryce Terang is coming up. He capped off a 7-run 3rd inning with his 3rd home run of the year. Wisconsin Lottery Powerball home run, straightaway center field, a 3-run shot.
Yeah, he's hit some big homers so far this season. Only 3, but he's come up with some big hits. Bryce Terang, when he gets the head out, man, he can juice a ball, even to center field.
12 runs batted in now on the season for Terang. 8 of them on 3 swings. Grand slam, solo homer, and a 3-run homer. And tried to that time. 95 that time from Flaherty.
Teams have been attacking Bryce Terang with the fastballs in the zone. He's been late a little bit on those. On breaking stuff, he has been hitting those. So he's got to make the adjustment at some point, and he will.
There's the breaking ball, and it's fouled at home plate. Let's see another one. Flaherty here in the second inning, dialing in that command just a bit. Foul back again. Now, Flaherty in his last start was basically 88 to 90 miles an hour with his fastball, and got a little bit defensive when reporters were asking him about his velocity. Flaherty flat out said, well, then I guess you just don't know anything about pitching.
It was a weird answer, I got to tell you, Jeff.
Right?
Very, very weird. No, your velocity is at 88 right now, and we're asking about it. That's all. I mean, now he's throwing 95. That's where the Cardinals want to see him at.
That's where
I'm with you.
That's how he operates, and that's, you know, if you've got it in the tank, use it.
Yeah.
I understand adding and subtracting to your fastball on occasion. We see Freddie Peralta do that too, but to not have anything above 91 in that appearance in his last start, and then to be asked about it and say, well, then you don't know anything about pitching, was just odd.
It was strange because Jack Flaherty has had a slew of arm injuries, and so I'm sure that's what the reporters were asking about, and just the media, and wanting to know, hey, are you healthy? Because this is a big part of the Cardinals' rotation. They don't have a lot of depth, and they need Jack Flaherty to go deep into this season.
Swing and a miss, took some off of that curveball and strikes out Bryce Terang. That's his second strikeout.
It's a big breaking ball from Jack Flaherty, and Bryce Terang can't hold back. Way out in front of it, waves through it. But how big was that first inning where he got that inning-ending double play? And that's what you see sometimes from opposing pitchers. You can see Jack Flaherty settled into this start a little bit because of that.
Tyrone Taylor now, and he takes strike one. And Brewers, if they give just one big hit, maybe push one or two across in that inning, maybe the script is different. Not just for the Brewers offense and Jack Flaherty, but maybe even for Freddie Peralta on the other side too.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know how tough this lineup is. If you're playing with a lead, then you're able to make your pitches a little bit with less pressure on you. Now you're pitching from 3-0 behind.
And now he ends up striking out a pair in a flawless second inning. A shutdown frame from Flaherty. Cardinals coming back to the plate when we come back.
30th from the Minnesota Twins. So Colin Ray, who started yesterday, has been optioned to AAA. So guys, we'll get into more on Darren Ruff and what he means to this team coming up later.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Nice play made by Bryce Terang on the deflection from Freddie Peralta. It's a 1-4-3 put out on just one pitch. And Freddie Peralta needs a fast inning in a bad way as Tommy Edman comes up. You mentioned the roster moves, adding a guy like Darren Ruff. The Brewers have really struggled in terms of hitting left-handed pitching, and it's been that way for a couple of seasons now. But Darren Ruff has a long track record of mashing against lefties.
He has 617 career at-bats against left-handed pitching, 39 home runs. That's about a season's worth of at-bats. He's got 39 home runs and an 886 OPS. I mean, he's hit lefties in his career, and Brewers need that.
He's having a tough season this year. Started with the Mets, got traded from San Francisco to the Mets the midway point last year. DFA'd by New York, picked up by San Francisco again, and then designated for assignment last week. 0-2 to Tommy Edman, rolled to first base. That is a fair ball, and Tellez just kind of fell asleep on it. Edman was hustling up the line, and he's going to reach.
Man, that play developed very strangely right there, Jeff, because I think Rowdy Tellez was expecting that ball to roll foul, and it didn't. And Tommy Edman is one of the fastest runners in all of baseball. Look at him running out of the box. And I think Tellez thought he could beat him to the bag off the bat, and He looked up, and Tommy Edman was almost at the bag, so he said, oh, I got to flip it to Freddie. That was a tough play right there.
Just did not look good. And Freddie a little bit late covering the bag as well.
Yeah, I think both of them thought it was going to roll foul.
A man on Edman, who can fly over at first base. And Nootbaar swings and misses. He's in an 0-2 hole. Nootbaar walked and scored on the 3-run homer by Nolan Arenado in the first. And a swing and a miss. There's the changeup. Peralta with his third punch out.
That's a good changeup right there. Again, Lars Nootbaar, a guy that doesn't chase outside the zone very often. Freddie Peralta gets him on 3 pitches, gets him to chase twice. Fastball up. 0-1. Now he gets him 0-2 and gets him to chase a changeup. Well located, good arm speed on that.
Goldschmidt now at the plate, fly to right field. First plate appearance in the first. A good stop by Contreras. Edman tries to go, and he'll make it.
It was a good read by Tommy Edman. He's the guy that's always going to look to take that extra base. That's part of what makes him valuable as a player. Ball gets in the dirt. He's off. As soon as it goes in the dirt, no chance for William Contreras.
In scoring position now for Goldschmidt. Wild pitch. Charge to Peralta. And it's 2-0 on Goldschmidt.
Here's the problem. You'd like to be able to pitch around Paul Goldschmidt, but you got Nolan Gorman on deck and then Nolan Arenado after him. The Nolans on deck and in the hole.
Nolan squared the 2-0. Popped up first base side. Tellez on the move, but it's foul. Fan tried to make the catch in his cap, and rats! How did I miss it?
Where's your glove? Bring your glove to the ball game. Got it anyway.
Yeah, he caught that one. Let's see how he does. I got it. No, I don't.
You got to go one hand hat, other hand to support and funnel, I would think, but he went 2-hand on the brim. No chance.
Well, it's because he's got like the brass clasp in the back. I think that's the reason. I don't think that has anything to do with it. 98 that time on the fastball to Goldschmidt. You got the right idea, though.
Yeah, funnel, just like an infielder.
Yes. Second hand for support. Stopped that time by Contreras. It's 3-2 on Goldschmidt. Trying to get out of this inning. That infield base hit by Edman. 3-2 pitch. And a liner to the gap in left center. Cardinals will get another run. Goldschmidt with an extra base hit. Edman will score to make it 4-0 Cardinals.
So difficult to navigate through the heart of this order. Freddie Peralta made a couple of good pitches in this at bat. Got to 3-2. And then you can't walk him. So Freddie Peralta throws a fastball that ends up on the inner part of the plate, but just not far enough in. You got to be perfect in there to Paul Goldschmidt, and he wraps a double into the gap. Man, when this Cardinals lineup is hitting, man, they are tough to pitch to.
For Christian Yelich against Jack Flaherty, who has not seen an order a third time very much this year. Yelich on the ground. Arenado's right there with a nice backhanded scoop and a throw to get Yelich. Just picking on the wrong guy over there at third.
Yeah, wrong guy to hit it to. I mean, I thought that ball was going to get through the infield, but Nolan Arenado so quick with that first step. Look at that to the backhand. Such soft hands, and then the 80 grade accuracy on the throwing arm. Just never makes a bad throw. Just ho-hum for Nolan.
He is a pleasure to watch play the position as Jesse Winker takes outside.
Yeah, you're talking about third time through the order for Flaherty. Hitters hitting 741 OPS against him that third time through with 4 extra base hits. So Brewers have a chance here. Hopefully get something, hit some mistakes, get some base runners. Got to get some traffic going. Do not want to see Ryan Helsley at the back. Need to somehow, some way try and get a lead.
Helsley, Gallegos, those two guys have been really good for St. Louis out of their bullpen. Just the offense sputtering here from Milwaukee today against Flaherty. Had a shot in that first inning, but haven't had anybody pass first base since. There's Helsley working on his right thigh with the old hypervolt.
Is that what that's called?
They have a couple of different companies that make those types of devices.
Those things work.
They're amazing.
Yeah. I used to have a foam roller that would vibrate real hard. And when I was pulling hamstrings at the back end of my career, that thing kept me on the field.
Two on Jesse Winker. And a curveball called for strike 3. 8 strikeouts for Flaherty. He's one off of his season high. 2 quick outs. Now a quick message from Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Adames 2 punch outs against Flaherty. Shoots one foul off the right side. Flaherty's velocity has maintained through the course of this start. Last pitch at 95 from Flaherty. A quick 0-2 on Willy Adames.
Willie trying to shoot it to right field. Just sliding off his barrel a little bit.
Trying to get Tellez to the plate in his 6th inning. Take by Adames. When Willie was going well in that San Francisco series, base hits to right, base hit to center. Did pull a home run, his 100th of his career. But it was that middle away approach. Pulled the off speed pitch. 1-2. Fouled again.
It's such a simple concept. And hitters know they have to do it to stay locked in. But it's so hard to execute because pitchers try and jam you in. And it's such a bad feeling to get jammed. And so that's why hitters will pull that front shoulder a little bit. Try and speed up the bat a little bit. And that'll get you totally out of sync. It doesn't take much. That's why hitting is so hard.
Thomas fouls another one away. You make a great point on that. When Christian Yelich in the beginning part of the season and now here in the month of May, even though there was some hits the other way on jams, you know you've got the confidence to get that pitch on the inner part of the plate.
That's it. We saw that a bunch from Christian Yelich at the start of the month. And then lately that's given him that confidence, like you said, Jeff, to be synced up with that approach. And then you just feel quicker inside when you're not trying to pull. You just feel quicker, and your bat, you'll surprise yourself sometimes, like, whoa, I got the barrel there. We saw that from Christian Yelich those last 2 games.
That is a foul ball up the third base line. 6th foul ball in this sequence between Flaherty and Adames.
Yeah, he's battling. He's trying to find somehow, some way to get on base. Got Rowdy on deck. Brewers have some thump in this order. Just at times they just can't string together at bats to score runs. We've seen that a bunch this year so far when they have gotten shut out.
And strike 3 called. Fastball on the inside corner. Flaherty matches the season high with 9 strikeouts. 6 scoreless from Flaherty. Peralta back to work. Love it. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball from Freddie Peralta, going out there for the 6th. 90 pitches on his ledger. Trying to match Flaherty in the inning department as he hits Paul DeYoung.
That's that changeup. He's thrown 15 of them now, only 6 for strikes.
4th time in 6 innings the leadoff batter has reached against Freddie Peralta. Alec Burleson 0 for 2. Ground down to pop out. And a drive to right. Back is Taylor. Makes the catch. Burleson hit that one on the screws.
Right down the middle of fastball, and he didn't miss it. It's a line drive right at Tyrone Taylor. Freddie Peralta, the Brewers caught a break right there.
Seeing this Cardinal team be a little bit more aggressive 3rd time through. In 5th inning, both Arenado and Contreras out on the first pitch. Saw 1 pitch out of Burleson there. Now Edman, infield single and a run scored. Up and out for ball 1. Bryce Wilson was getting loose last half inning, throwing in the Brewers' pen. See if Peralta can finish this thing out in the 6th. Ground ball base hit by Edman. And that might do it for Freddie Peralta. 2 on with 1 out. And with the top of the order coming up for a 4th time, Craig Counsell is going to make the move.
Yeah, Freddie Peralta just didn't have the command of his off-speed stuff. Jeff, you talked about the Cardinals being a little bit more aggressive. Well, they can sense that he's not throwing his off-speed for strikes, so they were jumping all over fastballs early. In fact, Tommy Edman hit a changeup right there.
Well, Bryce Wilson coming in. We'll be back. Brewers down by 4. The walks, 5 of them, a season high for Freddie. On the hook for the 2 runners that are on base. Our Gruber Law Offices 1 call. That's all. Call to the pen brings in Bryce Wilson.
Pitched on Tuesday, 35 pitches in 2 1/3. Gave up a couple of runs on a home run. Struck out a couple. Pitched against the Dodgers. Bryce Wilson's had a really nice year for the Brewers out of the pen with a 2.7 ERA so far and a 1.15 WHIP. He's kept the runners off base.
He falls behind 2-0 on Lars Nootbaar. Brewers can ill afford, I should say, to fall behind any further. The Cardinals with 3 in the first, 1 in the second. It's been nothing for either team since, and it's 3-0 on Nootbaar. Goldschmidt in the on-deck circle. That's down and in. Should correct myself. That first pitch of the sequence was called a strike, so it's a 3-1 count.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cannot walk Lars Nootbaar right here.
And a ground ball, and it hits the umpire. And a dead ball has been called to shut the play down. So it hits Bruce Dreckman, deflected out to the second baseman. Would have been a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play, but Bruce Dreckman shut the play down.
And then he just said sorry to Rowdy Tellez. And this ball may have gotten up the middle anyway. So now you got bases loaded.
It saves a run from coming across. It clearly hits Bruce Dreckman in the foot. Now Goldschmidt hits with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss. Nootbaar credited with a base hit. with the assist from Dreckman. 1-1 on Goldschmidt, an RBI double for him today, 1 out of 2.
Yeah, part of the reason why Bryce Wilson's having success this year is because he's added that cutter. He threw that cutter right there at 90 miles an hour and scrapped the slower slider that he threw last year.
Got a high strike, 1-2. It's that cutter. And the ground ball will be good here from Bryce Wilson.
Yeah.
And a check swing, appeal, denied.
That looked like he went too.
Ground ball towards the middle. Terang fields and no play. Cardinals add one more.
Man. Just another weird little play that was right in the right spot. Not sure why Willie Adames wasn't covering second base. I mean, when's the last time a shortstop's covered? There's that sweeper, or that curveball that Bryce Wilson throws. Yeah, just caught, both of them caught in no man's land in terms of being able to cover second base there. Willie Adames was almost going to die for that. They were kind of pinching the middle. Tough.
Gorman now takes outside, and after he had seen that nobody was covering the second base bag, at that point almost too late to try and throw to first. It's a accident waiting to happen if you make a bad throw. Compound the issue. Gorman fouls it away. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Goldschmidt, you know, he's not fast, but he's not a slug out there either. He's going to be able to beat that easily if Bryce Terang tries to throw him out at first.
3 infield hits for St. Louis in this game. Gorman swings and misses. Big cut. Didn't go on the check swing.
You can see Bryce Wilson trying to attack that upper part of the zone with those 2 seamers, those sinkers that he throws. Gorman just checks his swing.
Three and 2 on Gorman with Arenado on deck. Line still not closed on Freddie Peralta either. Still responsible for the runner at third. Drive down the right field line. That's going to score a couple more. 2 runs are in as Gorman with a 2-run double.
So tough. The 2-2 pitch was the pitch that Bryce Wilson needed to execute that backdoor cutter. Missed. Now it's 3-2 with guess who on deck? Nolan Arenado on deck. You had to give in and you had to go get him. Nolan Gorman swinging too out of a bat this year to miss that. Right down the middle, a cutter. And he smokes it into the right field corner. Easy 2 RBI double.
Trying to throw that same backdoor cutter, but ended up right over the middle of the plate. So Wilson has come in, allowed 3 straight hits, 2 weird ones, and then made a mistake on a 3-2 pitch. And it's 7-0 St. Louis. And Arenado coming to the plate. Arenado with a 3-run home run back in the first inning. Take another look at it. StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and from this point forward it's been all St. Louis.
Yeah, it's such a momentum swing, right? The Brewers had bases loaded early on in the game and didn't score anything, grounded into a double play to end the inning, and then Nolan Arenado in the bottom just hooks this one right around the pole for a 3-run home run. It's been all Cardinals ever since.
Arenado's 2 for 3. He's homered in 4 straight games. The second longest consecutive games with homers stretch of his career. Takes outside for ball 1. Once homered in 6 straight games back when he was a Rocky. Going in and missed it. Back-to-back appearances allowing runs for Bryce Wilson. Hasn't happened all season. 2-0 popped up. Got under it. Will it be deep enough? As Yelich comes in, he makes the catch, tagging and trying to score. Goldschmidt, he's in. Sacrifice fly for Nolan Arenado. 4 runs batted in the game.
Yeah, professional at bat from Arenado. Just trying to get something he can elevate to the outfield to score the 8th run for the St. Louis Cardinals.
So far, 4 runs, 6th inning. Wilson Contreras 0 for 2 with a walk. Just missed one back in the 5th inning against Freddie Peralta, whose line is now closed. And Contreras hits a sky-high pop-up, shallow center. Bryce Terang makes the catch, and the inning comes to a close. 4 score for St. Louis. 8-0 as we head to the 7th. Pitches, and you see what he had done in his previous 5 starts, Vinny. This is an outlier here, but man, as he put it together after a struggle in the 1st inning.
61 strikes out of the 91 pitches too, so that's been the story. Pounding the zone. We talked about that 1st inning, and that certainly was the momentum changer, and it allowed Jack Flaherty to settle in to this start.
He's matched his season high with 9 strikeouts tonight. Last time he completed 7 innings was over 2 years ago, May 7th of 2021. Did that against the Colorado Rockies. 7 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball.
The last time he's had at least 10 strikeouts in a game too, Jeff, was back in 2020 in September. It's Pittsburgh, so it's been a while since the Cardinals have seen this kind of form from Jack Flaherty.
And the velocity has been consistent. We opened up our broadcast talking about how Flaherty's velocity had been down 88 to 90 miles an hour in his last start. It is right where it needs to be tonight. And that missed low. Tried the changeup. Tellez has one of the 2 hits. The Brewers have not hit the ball hard at all in this game. Really just 2 maybe hard hit balls. As Tellez rifles one into right center field. That one was well struck. Hit number 3 in the game. 2 belong to Rowdy.
Yeah, right on cue after you talk about not having too many hard hit balls against Jack Flaherty. Rowdy puts a good swing on one here. Shoots it right back up the middle. A 94-mile-an-hour 4-seamer. The middle part of the zone. Rowdy with a couple hits.
He's not been retired by Flaherty. Now Contreras. He's bounced into a double play and reached on a fielder's choice. Hits one in the gap in right center. Long run. And Nootbaar is there to make the catch.
Good pass by William. Taking that opposite field approach, driving one into the gap, just up the end, just maybe a hair. Again, that wind blowing in from center held that one up. Allowed Nootbaar to run it down.
Anderson 0 for 2. A lot of offers in that Brewers lineup. Only hits coming from Rowdy Tellez and Jesse Winker. The bullpen for St. Louis is quiet. Flaherty about to throw pitch number 100. His season high is 110. Did that in LA, but it took 4 2/3 innings for him to throw 110 pitches. Nice curveball. His curveball has been on point for the better part of the night.
It has. It's got that hard biting late action to it. A lot of depth, hard to square up.
Only once has he gone over the 20 pitch mark in an inning. That was the first. Settled in after that.
If anything, the Brewers are going to try and have to get into the bullpen a little bit. Cardinals bullpen is pretty fresh. Really, the only guy down probably is Genesis Cabrera. Threw 25 pitches last night, but he'll be back tomorrow, so they got to get some usage out of that Cardinals bullpen. Set up the rest of the series.
A little stirring starting now in that Cardinals pen. Another 1-2 to Anderson. 2-2.
This point in the game, you know, you just got to get quality out of your at bats. Just get some good feelings going into the next game. 8-0 lead by the Cardinals.
And a swing and a foul held on to. Strikeout number 10 for Jack Flaherty. As you said, Vinny, first time he's done that since September of 2020.
Yeah, Brian Anderson just swinging through a slider. Man, tough.
Terang pops it up. Shallow center. Nootbaar has a beat on it and puts it away. 7 scoreless for Jack Flaherty. He's had the good stuff tonight for the Cardinals. And come back in this one. Down 8-0 as Wilson's out there for another inning. Owen Miller takes over in left. Christian Yelich out of the ball game. There's a strike to Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, 3 hits by the Brewers, but really only 1 ball that was hit hard, and that was that Rowdy Tellez single up the middle. Everything else been a strikeout or off the barrel.
Wilson Contreras and Jack Flaherty talking about tonight's stuff. Whatever was ailing them previously, the 10-run output against the Angels, I'd say they figured it out, or at least Flaherty did, as Wilson strikes out Donovan.
Yeah, all the turmoil around this ball club in the last couple of weeks around Wilson Contreras getting benched, signing that 5-year $87.5 million deal to catch, and then pulled off catcher a month into the season. Now all of a sudden, you know, are they smarter than everybody at this point? Oh, it worked. You know, just kind of dumbfounding, to be honest. Obviously, they're locked in tonight, those two.
You made a great point earlier, Vinny, just about the fact that everybody was looking at Wilson Contreras and his catching. Listen, he's not throwing the ball.
Right.
There's only so much he can do. And for the most part, yes, he's controlling the game with what pitches he's calling. But at the same time, the pitchers have to execute.
The Cardinals were last in the league in 2-strike opponent batting average at .216. In third to last in home runs given up with 2 strikes, and that's not the catcher's fault.
Swing and a miss. William Contreras just does throw out Paul DeYoung as Rowdy Tellez just the last moment got that foot in there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wilson. And you look at the metrics, and they're not a glowing report for what Wilson Contreras does behind the plate. William, his younger brother, and what the Brewers catcher has been able to put together has been so much better when you just look at the metrics of catching.
Right.
But at the same point, again, a lot of that blame, or at least a lot of the finger pointing, should go on some of the pitching staff too for St. Louis.
Yeah, for sure. And look, they're going from Yadier Molina catching them to anybody else is not going to live up to what Yadi was able to do in his ability to call a game and gain trust from pitchers. It's a work in progress, but it was just a strange situation how they pulled him off. Now he's back in.
Right, after a week.
Yeah. I thought the way they handled it within the media was a little bit strange as well. They could have just said he's going to keep catching. We're just going to get his bat going a little more or something.
Line drive snagged by Willie Adames out at shortstop. Takes a hit away from Burleson. And he is 0 for 4. On to the 8th inning. Cardinals are going to the bullpen.
87 pitches. So with Colin Ray, who started yesterday before Eric Lauer came into the game, being optioned to AAA Nashville, Craig Counsell saying they're now back to a 5-man rotation. So as it stands right now, they've got Wade Miley starting tomorrow, Corbin Burns, the series finale here on Wednesday. Then the team is off on Thursday before they'll play the Tampa Bay Rays over the weekend. So he said Eric Lauer will definitely have a big role in that series, but would not commit to a plan beyond that. But he said we will certainly see Colin Ray back with the team at some point to make starts. They just have identified this as a tough stretch here coming up with the schedule, but Eric Lauer figures to have a big role in that Tampa Bay Rays series, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sophia. James Nail takes over for St. Louis, making his 3rd appearance of the year, just his 10th big league appearance. But I think yesterday's win for Eric Lauer, 5 1/3 innings. Again, they weren't expecting him to go that long in the ball game, but he was just throwing the ball so well that they couldn't afford to take him out of the ball game. That's a huge confidence booster for Lauer.
Yeah, especially a guy who's kind of been struggling more on the mental side of his starts, and he kind of alluded to that in some interviews, that he just didn't feel right mentally. Hopefully that kickstarts him into kind of being able to execute and really just get through lineups a little bit better than he did early on in the season. Just didn't know what you were going to get from Eric Lauer early on.
Owen Miller, with his first plate appearance, came in to play left. Christian Yelich getting the rest of the night off. The Brewers down 8-0. Lauer's going to need to make some starts here, and hopefully that's the appearance as Miller shoots one to center for a base hit. Back-to-back knocks in this 8th inning against Nail.
What Owen Miller just keeps hitting.
Crush City.
Yeah.
Hit his first home run as a Brewer.
Yeah, Owen Miller just keeping things simple, just using his hands and shooting the ball up the middle, and that's what he's done so far this season. Nice little short swing, base hit up the middle.
Jesse Winker now, base hit in 3 tries today against Jack Flaherty, who went 7 scoreless. His off-speed stuff was unbelievable today. Winker fouls it away. 17 whiffs for Flaherty.
70 strikes out of the 105 pitches from a guy that was 4th in the league in walks coming into the game. Not what the Brewers expected.
Winker into shallow left. That's going to be a base hit. They're going to send Weimer around 3rd. The throw from Burleson is cut off. The Brewers are on the board. Jesse Winker with an RBI single. 3 straight hits for Milwaukee.
Just dumping one into left field is Jesse Winker, and again, just hopefully getting into the bullpen again is kind of the goal at this point. Jesse Winker hitting a curveball from Nail, jammed him, and a really good read again from Joey Weimer to be able to score on that ball. Brewers on the board.
Willie Adames, 3 strikeouts tonight, an 0 for 3. Need some positive vibes. 3 for his last 26 at the plate. And a ground ball towards the middle. Knocked down by Edman. They get one. It's dropped. And Winker's going to be out. That had 4-6-3 double play written all over it. Instead, the drop by Paul DeYoung. He was able to get that out on Winker. Fortunate for St. Louis.
So if Winker keeps running to the bag, there's going to be no out recorded right here. But as a runner, you're just expecting him to make that catch and then throw a seed right at your face to try and turn the double play. And that's why Jesse Winker slid early. Another bad break, really.
Bad break earlier in the ball game, too, on a ball that hit off the umpire's foot that looked like it was going to be a double play ball. Instead, ended up being a 4-run inning in the 6th. It's a big turn of events. Hanging 6 on Freddie Peralta today. 2-0 breaking ball for his strike on Rowdy Tellez. He didn't think that Nail was waiting for him to be in the batter's box, it appeared, as he was talking with Malachi Moore. Fouls that off his front foot. Cardinals bullpen moving. There's Chris Stratton. Time called, and Rowdy Tellez, who had mentioned earlier in the at-bat, hey, I got to be ready for him to come set.
Yeah.
Finally got the warning from Malachi Moore. Two. Inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Rowdy took 1 step towards his own dugout.
I mean, that was a big moving 2-seamer from Nail that started at Rowdy's right shoulder and came back, almost came back over the plate. Maybe it did, but it was called a ball. Come up with a big hit here, Rowdy.
Thomas will move. The pitch is outside. He draws a walk. They're loaded again for William Contreras. Tellez on all 4 times tonight. 2 walks, 2 hits. Contreras hits with the bases loaded for his 2nd time.
I would imagine this is James Nail's last batter if he does not get William Contreras.
And a hanging slider for strike 1. If anybody's going to have the good scouting report on William Contreras, it's going to be his brother Wilson behind the plate. And it's 2-1 on William. Cardinal fans getting a little restless here, even with a 7-run lead.
Yeah. Never know.
3-1 on Contreras with Brian Anderson on deck. Stratton is ready in the bullpen.
Stratton's been a leverage guy for the St. Louis Cardinals so far this year out in that pen. It's been Stratton, Gallegos, and Helsley.
Ground ball towards the middle. DeYoung has it, and they get the out. And William Contreras has stranded a small army on the base paths this evening. Brewers get on the board, though. It's 8-1. Thanks so much, Craig. Gus Varland comes on for the Brewers in this bottom of the 8th inning. Faces 9-1-2. 1 appearance since coming off the injured list.
Threw 44 pitches back on Tuesday against the Dodgers in an inning and a third. Gave up 1 hit, but did walk 3 batters. He's only given up runs in 1 outing so far this year. He's got the .225 ERA to show. Gus Varland been able to get ahead of hitters so far early on this season, but he's had some trouble putting them away with 2 strikes at times.
Yeah, and even with 2 outs, too, it feels like he gets those first 2 outs rather quickly,
yeah.
And then the 3rd out can be elusive at times. Edman on base twice, has scored twice, and now rips one to right. It's going to be 9-1 St. Louis on Tommy Edman's 6th homer.
Man, Tommy Edman's bat's coming alive. Rips a 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Varland. Ended up right down the middle, and he deposits it into right field. Look at this pitch right down the middle. Middle. Can't put it on a tee any better than that. Tommy Edman. Good swing from him. He's got 3 hits tonight.
Out of the 9-hole, does Tommy Edman. 97 that time from Varland for strike 1 on Nootbaar. 3 for 4, 3 runs scored plus a homer from your number 9 hitter.
Yeah.
Talked about it early. This one hit hard into the right center field area. Nootbaar with a base hit. His 2nd hit on his many at-bats, and he's picking on Bruce Dreckman. Remember, he hit him in the 6th inning when he was playing on the middle infield, and Bruce Dreckman's looking over at him like, dude, leave me alone.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Almost got him a 2nd time. Back-to-back hits, and now you got to deal with the thump. The Cardinals get that 1 run back. 8-run lead again. Slider for strike 1.
Yeah, Tommy Edman wasn't even really supposed to play tonight. Dylan Carlson banged up a little bit, and that's why Tommy Edman's in there. Otherwise, you probably would have seen Brendan Donovan play 2nd. A lot of different options, a lot of versatility on this Cardinals roster.
So critical in today's game, position versatility. See it the way that the Brewers manage things. See Adam Wainwright with the burger phone right next to him.
What is that?
Is that their bullpen phone?
I don't know.
Is it? They get service on that thing down in the dugout? Did you guys have a hamburger phone when you were growing up, Vinny?
I think we did.
Did you?
Weren't they giving them away at McDonald's?
They may have. A burger phone, bat phone. You can only order hamburgers and nugs with that thing. You're a big deal in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, they were.
I never had one. Envious of those that did. Up and in, and Goldschmidt draws a walk. First 3 have reached, and Bryce Terang has moved over to shortstop. Mike Brasso has taken over at 2nd base, so Adames is out of the game. And here comes Chris Hook to have a chat.
Varland coming out of his delivery a little bit, rushing through the release point. You see him pull off. That's what he worked on in spring training, and that's what really clicked for him, was staying closed with that front shoulder. He talked about that. Keeps him on direction. I'm sure that's what Chris Hook is saying right now. Hey, look, it's 9-1, but still execute your pitches. We're going to need you down the road.
They have a pinch runner over at first base for St. Louis as Nolan Gorman is at the plate. Goldschmidt will get the rest of the night off. Andrew Kisner been doing the lion's share of the catching with all the catching drama that's been going on in St. Louis for the last 10 days. Kisner running at first. Gorman a 2-run double in his last at bat. He's 2 for 4. This Cardinals offense just continues to motor. The month of May has been good for them. 5th time in the last 8 games. Cardinals have scored at least 6 runs. They have plenty of run support for Jack Flaherty.
And isn't it amazing too, Jeff, how with all the drama surrounding this Cardinals team, Derek Gould wrote a piece about how this team got booed for the first time in a long time during that losing streak, and yet the Brewers, you still feel that.
Oh boy, Gorman out to right. Back Taylor, gone for Nolan Gorman. Well, the Cardinals pouring it on now. 10th home run of the season for Nolan Gorman, and he's got 5 RBIs tonight.
Yikes. Hanging breaking ball from Varland. Gorman doesn't miss those too often. Down and down the middle is where he likes it, as most hitters do, but especially Nolan Gorman. Got a ton of juice, that kid. Still only 23 years old, and he's making a case to be a St. Louis Cardinal and a fixture for them for a long time with the season that he's having early on. Ouch.
Up to 33 runs batted in now for Gorman. And it's 12-1 St. Louis. Brewers haven't had a lot of these lopsided losses, as Juan Yepez will hit for Nolan Arenado. The Brewers in back-to-back Mondays have taken on a team that played the late Sunday night game of the week. Dodgers came to town. They had a lot of travel to do from San Diego. Got in at 4 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. And the Brewers, in another Freddie Peralta start, took it to L.A. A little different story with the Cardinals coming back to the Midwest from the East Coast. Still had a late arrival, about 2 o'clock in the morning. Didn't take batting practice today, but no worse for the wear. 12 runs and some real crooked numbers in innings. And Yepez takes a called third strike. First down of the inning in the 8th.
The difference in those scenarios, though, Jeff, was that the Dodgers didn't put out their A lineup that first game back off that tough travel day. You did not see Will Smith in the lineup that night. That made a difference to that lineup construction for the Dodgers. But tonight, obviously, the Cardinals have their A lineup going on, and it's such a tough gauntlet to pitch to.
Wilson Contreras into right center, coming on Taylor, sliding, and he makes the catch. Nice play by Tyrone Taylor. A very rare bright spot in a game that has been dominated by the Cardinals. Nice play by Tyrone.
Yeah, Tyrone Taylor just playing hard here in a 12-1 ball game, still trying to make something happen for his pitcher. Really nice job of getting the glove underneath that baseball. Coming in fast from right field. He's played a nice outfield this year so far.
And following the homer, the strikeout of Yepez, and Contreras with an 0 for 4 at the plate. Donovan, the 7th man to hit. It's 2-0 on Donovan. Walk, 0 for 3 otherwise. 3-0. Dueling lefties tomorrow. The Brewers to send Wade Miley to the mound against Jordan Montgomery, and Wade Miley going to try and rebound from what was a tough start for him last time against L.A. Donovan draws a 2-out walk, second walk of the inning, and here comes DeYoung.
Yeah, it'll be a big start for Miley tomorrow, especially considering, you know, he was cruising for the first 10 batters of the game. He set down an order against the Dodgers and then just ran into a buzzsaw that second time through the order.
And a ground ball towards the middle. Terang can't get it. It's into center. Station to station for Donovan. It's a base hit for Paul DeYoung. 4th hit of the inning for St. Louis. 2 of them have left the ballpark. And Burleson, the only Cardinal that has not reached base. 0 for 4. He's hit a couple of bullets his last 2 times up that were caught. And takes down and in.
Varland's just given up 2 earned runs so far in the season before this outing, and now he's given up 4 more. Some comfortable at-bats right now from the St. Louis Cardinals. Tough spot to pitch in.
And Burleson a base hit. He joins the hit parade. Donovan will come in and score. Throw is cut off. It's 13-1.
Yeah, tough spot to pitch in, right? So even the pitches you make, the hitters are comfortable. They're seeing the ball well. There's no panic. There's no pressure on their ABs. And they're hitting all the mistakes from Gus Varland so far tonight.
10th man to hit in the inning will be Edman. He led off the inning with a homer. The previous season high in runs allowed by this Brewers team was 12. Boston put up 12 against him. In that finale, of course, a 9-run 8th inning is a part of that. The Cardinals with a 13-run output and just 8 trips to the plate.
It's a good hitting ball club. It's a tough offense to get through for pitchers.
Well, Edman, who homered to start the inning, fouls that one back, and he was looking for his second homer of the inning.
Almost the exact same spot.
I mentioned the pitches used by Varland his last time, 44 of them against the Dodgers. 0-1 hit towards the right side, and that's through for a base hit. Just that kind of night for St. Louis and their offense. Everything finding holes, everything going in the right spots where the Brewers defenders are not.
Yeah, just one of those nights, like you said, Jeff. So tough to play right now. If you're the Milwaukee Brewers, you feel like the inning's never going to end. Just a carousel.
Lars Nootbaar now on base 3 out of 5 times that he's come to the plate and scored 3 times. So how about the number 9 and the leadoff batter for St. Louis? Edman with 4 hits has scored 3 times. Nootbaar with 2 hits, a walk, and has scored 3 times. Just an onslaught today by the Cardinals.
Yep. Yep, those guys in front of Goldschmidt, Gorman, and Arenado, man, those are tough at-bats. They're all guys that have quality at-bats. They're just going to fight to get on base ahead of those guys. That's what they've done so far tonight.
5 players have combined for 13 of the 15 hits. And it's the usual suspects.
Yeah.
9, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all with multi-hit games.
And Tommy Edman hits the Brewers, it seems, doesn't he? Like I said, he's been struggling a bit coming into this series so far this season.
3-1 on Nootbaar, and it's up and out. So ball 4, and the 12th man to hit in the inning will be Kisner, and Craig Counsell is going to take Varland out, and this might be a situation where you see a position player pitch, and it's going to be Mike Brasso. So what we'll have here is Jesse Winker, the DH, go out and play in the outfield. Brasso will try and get the final out of this inning. Brewers haven't needed to use a position player very often to pitch, but this is going to be one of those situations. Owen Miller's coming in to switch out his glove. Jesse Winker actually volunteered his left-handed, right-handed catching glove to Owen Miller. He goes, "You want to use this?"
Yeah, this is ugly. Once you see a position player start to throw.
Well, now they just need to save as much of that bullpen as possible. And Varland, unfortunately, is 2/3 of an inning, and that ERA is going to balloon in a big way. 1 bad outing.
He's already given up 5, and if Brasso gives up any more, those are all 3 of his runs out there. Giving up 6, beg your pardon, so far.
So Brasso makes his 8th career pitching appearance. Well, giving up 2 runs in 7 innings of work. Varland with 33 pitches. to get 2 outs in this 8th inning. And Andrew Knizner will be the first man to face him.
Yeah, if you're Varley, you just got to clear that one for sure. That's tough. Tough spot to pitch in right there.
Knizner, who launched a big homer over the Green Monster at Fenway in that series against Boston. Brasso says, I'm ready to go. And Malachi Moore saying, well, you can take one more if you want or not. Pitch timer says you got 30 more seconds, and he's just ready to go. I think he was waiting for William Contreras to throw a ball down to second base. You don't normally do that with guys on the bag.
Yeah, right. Not in the pitching change, Mike.
All right, here we go. Brasso looking at where his defense is as Knizner steps in. He pinch ran for Paul Goldschmidt earlier this inning. And the pitch to Knizner is inside. Two 2-0 on Knizner. 14-1 Cardinals. Knizner on the ground to third. That's a foul ball.
So the Cardinals coming into this game were 16-25 with a -10 run differential. And now they're going to be on the plus side after this one, unless the Brewers put up a big crooked number in the bottom or the top.
That's what kind of makes that record a little deceiving for me, meaning just -10 in the run differential.
Right. Yeah, they have not. They've been losing a lot of 1-run and 2-run ball games. That's why they're 9 games under 500.
Knizner out to left. Back winker. It's a grand slam for Andrew Knizner to make it 18-1. Third home run of the inning for St. Louis.
Yeah, ouch. And especially for Gus Varlin. Now he's given up 9 earned runs in this one. Should be a separate category for a home run off a position player in my book.
Got a symbol next to it. First career grand slam as Gorman rolls one to first base. Rowdy Tellez handles that, and a 10-run 8th inning finally comes to an end.
Montgomery, who they've had some struggles against hitting lefties.
Well, Darren Ruff, the newest Brewer, is in there. There's Juan Yepez, takes over in right. Knizner is now at first base. Donovan over at third as Ruff takes outside. Ruff joined the club today, signed his 1-year deal earlier today. Voigt going on the injured list with that neck strain. I bet you Ruff will be in there tomorrow with Jordan Montgomery scheduled.
Yeah, Ruff has really done a nice job against left-handed pitching in his career. That's what the Brewers need. Last in the league in OPS against left-handed pitchers.
It's one on the ground. Tommy Edman near the bag, flips and gets Ruff. Ruff was hitting for Brian Anderson. $17-run difference right now facing the Brewers.
Brewers run differential on the season is going to go down to +3. They were at +20 going into this one, Jeff. So, man, it's a stat. It's an indicator as to how well you're doing on the season, just in terms of preventing runs and scoring runs. Really kind of a simple stat that pretty big indicator as to how good your team is.
Turang takes down and in 1-ball 1-strike on Bryce Turang, and kind of blows up your your earned run average, when you look at where the Brewers bullpen ERA was, and 2 bad outings can really mess that up in a big way.
Yeah.
With the innings that you work.
That's what makes it so hard to be a reliever. Then you're chasing ERA every time you take them out. You're looking up at that scoreboard and seeing a big number for your ERA, especially for a young guy like Varland.
Yeah, Varland went from 225 to now 1142. Responsible for 9 of those runs. Turang 0 for 3 today. Brewers with just a run on 6 hits. Turang sprays it foul.
Just goes to show how important it is to get a lead for the Milwaukee Brewers just in general, but also just how important it is against these St. Louis Cardinals.
Turang again fouls one away off of Nail. Just such a big momentum shift after the first inning.
Yeah.
Bases loaded, 1 out for the Brewers. Hit into a double play, inning ends. 2 on, 1 out. Arenado hits a 3-run homer. And then from there, Jack Flaherty had the game of his season. Turang strikes out for the 2nd out here in the 9th.
Yeah, and that's the kicker right there about Jack Flaherty. It's in the media. He was kind of fighting with some of the media members just in terms of how he was performing early on, and then you had him on the ropes in the first. You would have thought that would have kept him kind of battling and just settled in.
Tyrone Taylor down in the count, 0-1. And sometimes these games, while in the moment down by 17 runs, they sting. They might be the easiest ones to flush.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you almost just laugh them off, really. I mean, it's just one of those days, one of those nights.
Well, Taylor flies it to center field. Nootbaar is under it, and this game will mercifully come to an end. Cardinals take the opener 18-1. They've now won 7 of their last 8.
Yeah, just a game the Brewers are going to flush, like you said, Jeff. Just no answer for Jack Flaherty. He was able to settle in after that first inning. Freddie Peralta didn't have it tonight. The Cardinals were just too good offensively. Got to come back tomorrow.
A 10-run 8th inning capping this big win for St. Louis as they pick up their 17th win of this